For me, travel isn't just for fun. I'm an archaeologist, so travel is also an important part of my research. Today, I want to tell you about 3 of my favorite archaeological discoveries. These discoveries are important for research because they link us to our ancestors. The 3 discoveries you'll hear about today tell us something about one society's ancient accounting practices, another's ancient rituals, and the third's written language. And these 3 things are still very important to us today, right? Okay. Our first stop will take us to a site in Caral, Peru, in South America. Here, we'll look at a recent discovery about a group of people called the Incas. Why is this site important? Well, it shows us that the Incas were very interested in accounting. Archaeologists have found that the Incas used a very detailed system of colored strings for keeping records or counting things. They call this system of colored strings quipu. That's K-H-I-P-U. The quipu tells us that the Incas were interested in organizing their world and keeping track of finances or maybe events of some type. We know that this system consisted of different colors and lengths of string and knots in the strings. Don't you wonder what they were counting? Archaeologists do too. And they're using computers to try to discover the code or system of the quipu. Funny, isn't it, that we're using computers today to figure out what maybe was a type of computer in the past for the Incas. Let's make another stop, this time in England. Here we find Stonehenge. Have you heard about Stonehenge? It's a site with a structure. And this site shows us how important ritual was for the people who lived in that area thousands of years ago. What do you think the structure was made of? Well, yes, stones, as the name tells us. These stones are huge, much too heavy for people to lift. We wonder how these ancient people placed the stones in the circle that forms Stonehenge. Archaeologists believe that Stonehenge was used for ceremonies. The size of Stonehenge tells us that human rituals were significant to these ancient people, just like rituals are important for many people today. Our final stop is Easter Island, a very small piece of land in the Pacific Ocean. Now, this is really interesting. Have you ever wondered how ancient people told stories or passed on their knowledge? One way was the use of petroglyphs, spelled P-E-T-R-O-G-L-Y-P-H-S. These are pictures or symbols carved into stone with a knife or tool. Many of these carved pictures tell us about hunting practices, for example. Others show birds or birdmen, which tells us that birds were very important to the ancient people of this island. In general, the petroglyphs tell us that these people were interested in 3 things. 1, communicating their ideas and stories. 2, learning. And 3, recording information. Isn't it interesting how these archaeological discoveries can tell us things about ancient societies? Even thousands of years ago, accounting, rituals, and language were important. So, to review. To see one of the earliest computing systems, you can't miss a trip to Peru to see the Incan quipu. Interested in human rituals? Make sure you visit Stonehenge. And the trip to Easter Island will show you some fascinating petroglyphs. You really should see this early form of writing. That's all for today. Bon voyage.